I think we've waited long enough. I think now is the time to anoint this man, Bijan Achane, that no channel or content creator was higher on than this man. Bijan Achane is heading to Saturn.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
This man, Bijan Achane, who pulled in 11 touchdowns in 2023, is headed to Saturn.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
The Fantasy Football Show, the Bijan Achane Show, the top 5 running back breakout prediction Bijan Achane Show begins right now.
FootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
This man right here, Bijan Achane, is a gem, a piece of glory, a staple on the show, a player that we were higher on, I was higher on, you were higher on than anybody in the fantasy football space, whether it's a viewer, a connoisseur, just jump on the bandwagon Willie, or any other content creator. We are the ones. We are the ones that created the Achane hype. This is the man that wrote it down on the board, 4,000 times in a row because some caller said, Bijan Achane is not it. I said, hold on, friend. I said, hold on. If you missed that live stream, I said Achane. He said, stop saying Achane. Stop making content on Achane. I said, Achane. 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 And I wrote this. I continue to write this. I think we counted it was like 3,000 times in a row because someone told me to stop saying the name Achane. Stop making content on Bijan Achane. Well, you don't tell me what to do. And I'll tell you right now, this man, Bijan Achane, is going to Saturn. This man, Bijan Achane, who came in hot in 2023 as a rook, scoring 11 tutties on the ground, 8 touchdowns on the ground, 3 receiving touchdowns, 11 total. But it doesn't stop there. The real analysis, the real wow in this situation is what he did from a low volume perspective. To score 11 touchdowns when you're running back 24 volume-wise amount of games that you play, injuries are always going to be something people throw at the Bijan Achane argument, and I get that. I understand that, and I expect that to continue. And that's partially the reason why he'll be somewhat of a value walking into 2024 drafts, meaning he'll be at the first round, second round turn, or potentially deep into the second round. Much will be determined what he does on the field in the playoffs here because Bijan Achane is not done. That's not the correct one. That's the correct one. Bijan Achane and the Miami Dolphins might advance, or even if they just play one game, this is my bracket right here. Even if they play one game, he has one game to impress. So Bijan Achane, if he goes out and has 100 total yards and a touchdown, he's going to climb people's boards. If he goes out there as 75 total yards, no touchdowns, he probably won't move much. He'll probably even fall just a smidge. And if he goes out there and does nothing, then he's going to fall to the bottom of round 2, maybe top of round 3. But I think we shouldn't count on that. I think we need to expect that he's going to cost a 12-13 turn pick selection. And let me tell you something right now. As you look into my glasses, bring it in close. I will take him 12 if I need to. I would take him 8 if I need to.
The moon men drop
No!
in outer space.
I hit the wrong button. Nobody saw Take Dell on that board. Wrong button. I would take Achane number 8. Look at my glasses again. You didn't see that. Like, where's that? What's that Man in Black thing? Look at the pen. You forgot what you just saw. Don't forget the entire live stream, Joe, though. Just the last, 11 seconds. Achane is absolutely a monster. And you know what's beautiful about Devon Achane right now? This man that ran for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. 7.8 yards per carry, which I'll touch on in a second. 27 receptions for 197 and 3 touchdowns, which I'll touch on in a second. 11 total touchdowns. The beauty is that people are absolutely 1,000% going to continue to sling a bunch of hate onto this kid. Oh, he's going to get hurt. Oh, he's not going to be the guy. Let me tell you something. You absolutely unreasonable Unger that's watching right now that just can't stand Devon Achane's rise because, and this is the psychology and fantasy football, I didn't get a psych degree for nothing. This is what I got it for. I didn't use it for anything else, so it has to be this. It has to be now, or it was a waste of money. But the psychology in fantasy football is this right here. You hate Achane if you hate him. All you Achane haters out there watching right now, pissed off, ready to just type on your keyboard warrior. He's going to get hurt. You don't like Achane. You don't believe in Achane because you didn't draft him. Because you doubted him. You left him on the waiver wire when we said continue to grab this guy. Continue to hold this guy. You neglected Devon Achane, therefore you are rooting against his success. You're hoping for his demise and fall to make yourself feel better about your lack of attention to the matter. That's the only thing. If you're sitting here grasping and fighting with yourself, oh, why are you doing this? Left and right. One side of you saying Achane, the other side's going, don't do it, don't give in. Yeah, go ahead and do it. The anti-you and the pro-you are fighting right now. The reason the anti-Achane in you right now is going nuts is because you can't accept what you didn't see coming, and it makes you feel bad about yourself. You feel like you might not be a good analyst if you're out there in an analyst world and you didn't have this guy on your list. You're just going to root against him. If you're a viewer or a connoisseur of fantasy football monster like all of you in here, but the one or two of you that are sitting there absolutely upset. Achane's going to be garbage. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to make it. You're rooting against him because you're trying to make yourself feel better. Achane's going to the moon. Get on board. It's happening. You can either watch it from afar again. You can say things like running back 24, well, that was not very good, Smitty. Or you could actually look at this data and say to yourself, well, goodness gracious, Smitty, if he scored 11 touchdowns on running back 24 volume, if he had 800 yards, if he had all of this production without being even used, if he was, let me tell you, on this 7.8 yards per carry on a massive amount of carries to the tune to get you 800 yards. Do you know who the number one running back in the National Football League is in the history of the NFL? In the history of the NFL, the number one yards per carry player is Devon Achane. Look at that Miami Dolphin blue. Look at that tower. Look how Devon Achane towers over everybody else. There's some amazing names on this list. This man, with over 100 carries in a season, has more yards per carry, well, really his career, than anybody in the National Football League per season and also for his career. This man is the number one player in history in yards per carry. And what do you have to say about that? What kind of hate are you going to sling on this man to make yourself feel better about that stat, Bob? This man's going to thrive. My projection for this man is 1,100 rushing yards, 6.5 yards per carry in 2024, 10 total rushing touchdowns, 55 receptions, 425 receiving, essentially doubling his receiving production, 4 to 6 touchdowns through the air. We're talking about a 14 to 16 touchdown player. We're talking about a 1,500 yard total yard player. We're talking about a 6.5 yard per carry player. We're talking about a top 5 running back in 2024, a Saturn man. Here he is. I give you Saturn man number
The Saturn Man.
5.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Spaceman. Spaceman.
And the beautiful part here is all the people jumping back on the train, but also all the people that refuse to get on it. It's an equal part glory type of situation where you just get to watch and excitement to watch everybody that said Smitty. If you'll remember back when Achane exploded, let's go down. Let's take a trip down memory lane on his game log. Here are his stats right here. And so if we take a look at Devon Achane, and let me see if I can get. Let's use this here. So if we look at his week 3, 4, and 5. Actually, this one's too big. Let me get a different one. Let me see. This one should work pretty well. There we go. If we look at his week 3, Denver, 203 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 30 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. This guy had 4 touchdowns in week number 3. Then he comes back his next game, 101 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 19 yards receiving. His very next game, that was against Buffalo, by the way. Very next game, 151, 1 touchdown, 14 yards. This guy had 5 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns in 3 games. 7 touchdowns in 3 games. Then he got injured right here. Week 6, oh, he's garbage. Week 7, he's garbage, Smitty. Week 8, he can't stay healthy. He's garbage, Smitty. This guy's an absolute travesty, Smitty. Then when he came back right here, this is where he had 73 yards, 2 tutties, and then everybody jumped ship after week 14. This little void here created panic right here. And this is where your boys said, Achane, Achane, Achane. And everybody kept doubting him. They kept saying, Smitty, he's not going to be good. Smitty, he's going to crap the bed. Smitty, this is not the guy. Smitty, we need to run away from this guy, Smitty. And this, at this point, let me move this out of the way so I can speak to you, and then we'll go right back to the week 17 stat line. This is the stage where everybody that hated him piled it on, and the people that did believe in him that had some question marks jumped off. And that's where it was like, Smitty, you're putting it out there. You're going to lose some leagues. How many times? Raise your hand in the live chat right now. Throw a thumb up, a hand raise, an eggplant emoji, however you want to indicate yes on this specific question. How many times did you see somebody say, Smitty, you're going to lose a lot of leagues on this Achane stuff. You're going to lose a lot of leagues on this Achane stuff. We doubled down. We doubled down, Donnie, in the right, proper way on this. Raise your hand if you remember that. And what did Achane do in week number 17 when it mattered? 107, 30 yards receiving, touchdown. He's a monster. He's a straight up savage. Straight up savage. And this game log is insane. This game log is absolutely ludicrous. 7 touchdowns in this 3-game span up top. 11 total touchdowns on the year. Just an absolute straight savage. You can doubt him if you want. That's up to you. That's a move you've got to decide to make. That's a move you're rooting in absolute ridiculousness in terms of your logic and reasoning. This is a man that has proven he is the best yards per carry running back in the history of the NFL. 7.8. Look at that tower. Look at that tower above every other running back. This man averaged 7.8 yards per carry. This man, probably you can't count on that year over year, but prove to you in an offense with Mostert in there in that early game span against Denver, against the Giants, against the Buffalo Bills, Mostert was in the game. Mostert wasn't out that entire stretch. They can coexist. And the thing that I love the most about Achane's situation for 2024 is that Mostert's still there. Mostert's 32 years old walking into the season. Ziggy, how old is Raheem Mostert?
Raheem Mostert is 31 years old and was born on April 9, 1992.
31. 31. You know what happens to 32-year-old running backs? They fall off. Ziggy, off. They fall off the face of the earth. Listen to Ziggy. I've been training him. He's more on point than ever. Ziggy's ready for 2024. Ziggy, are you ready for 2024?
I'm having trouble hearing.
Damn it.
Can you say that again?
Ziggy, off. Don't mind him. Look at me. This man, Devon Achane, is in a situation where a 32-year-old running back that has a massive injury history, I don't care if he shook it off for one season, Mostert turns 32 years old walking into 2024. Mostert is most likely not going to stay healthy if he gets even remotely close to the same volume he got this past season. The odds of him being an absolute monster again are not super high, but here's the catch. It doesn't matter if he is. Even if Mostert plays 17 straight games, there's room in this Miami Mike McDaniel Dolphins offense to cater to both of them. We saw Achane have his best game in... Can I just say something? Devon Achane had the biggest fantasy football point total explosion week out of anybody in the National Football League. What more do you need to hear when I give you two stats like this? Tell me, who is the number one fantasy football scorer in a single given week at the running back position? Devon Achane over Christian McCaffrey, over every player. 51.3 in this specific scoring format. Every scoring format might be slightly different. 203, 2 touchdowns, 203 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 30 receiving, 2 touchdowns. No one had more points in a single given week in 2023 than Devon Achane. Number one, not top 5, not a couple top 4, number one. You don't trip and fall into a 4 touchdown, 200-yard rushing game, 4 scores, 30 yards receiving, and outscore everybody, including Christian McCaffrey, in a single week. The highest point total in 2023. And you don't, at the same time during that entire season, outrush the entire history of the NFL in yards per carry. Number one in NFL history in yards per carry. What more do you need? What more do you want? What more can I say? And if I can't say anything else, then I don't care, because I've done my job. And Devon Achane is going to Saturn, and Devon Achane's taking us with him, the people that will pay attention, listen, and get on the train.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Spaceman. Spaceman.
Spaceman indeed. Spaceman
Motion
indeed.
detected at the backyard.
Spaceman indeed. Okay, so appreciate every single one of you being in here. We got a super chat waiting here from Space Ricky. Achane is heading to the house as we speak. Space Ricky is in space right now, hence the breakup in his message as he's trying to transmit from the moon as he writes something
To the moon.
as magnificent as that. But Space Ricky, appreciate your super chatting. You were correct. He's heading to Saturn. He's going to colonize Saturn with Kyron Williams, Breece Hall, and JD5, and a whole bunch of other players that are going to be announced really, really soon. If you didn't know, this is the Saturn Men list so far.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
And we added Bijan yesterday, and for every one of you doubters that doubted Bijan all season long, and look, I'm not saying we didn't get put in our place a little bit with the expectation level of Bijan Robinson, who is a Saturn man. But for anybody that doubted him, started to jump off the train, for anybody that didn't have the enthusiasm that we all share right now walking in, we're taking away your Bijan card, and we're doing it now.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Because this man, Achane, and because this man, Bijan Robinson, have a very similar tale to tell. A very similar 2023. A season of potentially not enough given. Because people that had Achane, they worried about, hey, is he going to be able to come back for me? He's finishing as running back 24, Smitty. His game log's fantastic in spots, but he didn't play. He got injured. So this story to tell is one that a lot of you that don't believe in him, or the small group of people here that don't believe in him, are trying to tell this narrative, paint this narrative, this picture of Achane as an injury-plagued guy, because it's the only way you can cope. It's the only way you can cope with your decision and the bed you've made. And you'll notice that no one's quiet about it. Like, hey, I love Achane. I love Achane. I love Achane. And the Achane hater or doubters like, I'm going to sit back and just watch this one. No, they're vocal. They have to come in and make themselves feel better. Hey, let me tell you why. Achane's good. He's going to have to stay healthy. He's going to have to stay healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, no crap, Bob. Every running back has to stay healthy. Every player has to stay healthy. Joe Burrow went down. Matthew Stafford didn't. Explain that one. Tua Tagovailoa stayed upright all year, and other QBs didn't. That should have. Explain that one. Every position was hit with injury too. It's not running back. It's not wide receiver. You get some people that come in and say something like, "Oh, I'm avoiding running backs in the first round this year because of all the injuries." What in the hell are you talking about? Every position got annihilated with injuries. Every position, injury and bust. I mean, Kelsey got hurt. Let's not pretend like Kelsey didn't get injured and that didn't trigger his downfall. And then Taylor Swift on top of that, it just started to steamroll. But Kelsey got injured. Mark Andrews got injured. Hawkinson got injured. The tight end position got decimated. The running back position got decimated from top to bottom. The wide receiver and QB position equally got decimated. The entire 2023 season was who's going to crawl to the finish. And the story that's going to be told about this guy right here is going to be, hey, you either believe that he will stay healthy or not, but predicting injury for a player that had a knee injury that every single one of you, every single NFL player out there would have suffered that same knee injury, if not maybe a season-ending injury. No one's talking about how he escaped a bad knee injury that maybe some players would have tore their ACL on. Like no, and then when he comes back in after his little layoff from the knee injury, and somebody does a suplex right on his knee. And everyone's like, oh, he's injury prone. See, it's crazy to me that he's being tagged as an injury prone player when his major injuries were a knee injury that would have taken anybody out, maybe out for the season. This guy didn't have lingering, there's toe concerns. Everybody's banged up. The toe didn't keep him out. Like, everyone wanted to say he's always injured. Look, the toe injury. Stop using the toe injury. He didn't sit because of the toe. He sat because of his knee. He's been on the injury report. The entire Miami Dolphins team sits out majority of their practices all week. Everybody's banged up. This guy doesn't come with the injury label that people want to slap on him. He's going to explode. And I can't wait for the doubting Donnies. I can't wait for the negative Noahs. I can't wait for the I can't cope with what I've done last year and doubting Achane Ians that come in and say, I'm not going to touch him in the second round. Top of round 2? No thanks. Maybe I'll come back in. If he stays healthy, I might like him. Hedge your bet all you want, Henry. You hedging Henry? Hedge your bet all you want. But we know what time it is. And in fact, we'll be taking away Devon Achane cards. We have a takeaway Bijan card here.
Your Bijan card has been...
We will be taking away and creating Achane cards. And if you cast any doubt on Achane during a live stream, I will remove your Achane card and your Bijan card at the same time.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
This man, like Bijan, has a lot of doubt circling around him. Now, Bijan's doubt has dissipated in a major way since Arthur Smith was fired. But I still believe there are going to be so many people, and when I say so many people, I mean like maybe a 15-20% of a league across all the leagues. So you look at that as a 15%, let's call it 15% population of people that don't want to draft him at what will likely be his required ADP value range. And they're going to say something like this. They'll probably say something along the lines of, I don't trust him until I see it. Let's see who the head coach is. All understandable viewpoints, but the thing you got to understand about Dynasty content, which I did this video on the Dynasty channel, and everybody make sure you click the link in the description. In fact, let me drop the Dynasty channel. First of all, let me drop Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Let me drop that link as well. And anybody that wants to do a draft, we may do one at the end of this a little bit later in the show. But play Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Here's that link right now. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100 by just hitting this link and signing up to this link. The link will just insert promo code Smitty for you, so you can manually do that. The link's in the description of every video in case you're watching a replay. So hit that. But the Dynasty channel, which I'm doing a video pretty much every day, and if I miss something, I'll do multiple videos. I'm going to stay on point on the Dynasty channel. Believe me, we're going to blow the Dynasty channel up. There's the link to the Dynasty channel. Subscribe to that. We went live on the Dynasty channel talking about Bijan last night. And this guy is going to see about a 10 to 15% amount of people in every league. So 1 to 2 to 3 people in a league. So 1 to 3 would be, depending on your size of your league, about 10 to 15 to 20% of your league will have reservations. Reservations, maybe not, maybe one guy doesn't want them, but reservations. But in Dynasty or in early best ball drafting, which is why I brought this up, Underdog Fantasy, early best ball drafting, while everybody's waiting for the draft, everybody's waiting for this and that to play out, you have the opportunity to take advantage of the worried Williams and, yeah, take on a little risk. Could they bring in a coach that doesn't want to use Bijan again? Maybe. But are you willing to take that risk that we don't see another Arthur Smith? I am. At the cost of getting him a little bit cheaper than I would have had I waited to jump into a Dynasty startup, to do a bunch of early best ball drafts, whatever the case may be, or people waiting to see who they draft. What if they draft a running back? Like any of that kind of concern, I will take my chances that this doesn't work out because the risk is greater to doubt Bijan's current value, which seems to be in the 8 to 12 territory. And some people say this, Smitty, I won't touch Bijan until round 2. Good. And I'm not saying take him 1. I'm saying take him where you can get him. His ADP should linger around 8 to 12. There are some people, and we're talking about 1 or 2 out of every 12 in a league, that say things like, he's running back 1. He's running back 1 next year. I'm taking him no matter what. And that's fine. And those people, I don't blame you, and I'm all on board. I support you. No laps are being taken if he's your running back 1. But in general, you'll get him at mid-range round 1, but probably in the 6 to 12 range. As for Achane, you're going to hear a similar story being painted.
Hey, Achane is he's so injury prone. I'd only take him at the top of 3, maybe late 2nd, and it depends on how he finishes, and it depends what happens to Mostert, and it depends what his nutrition looks like. It depends how much meatloaf he eats on the regular basis. It also depends on what the weather's like And so when all those things come together in August, on the 20th of August, I'll make a decision on whether I'll take Achane in my draft.
Go ahead and let the world pass you by, Peter, because we're doing it live. It's getting hot in here. It was cold when I started. It's getting a little toasty because your boy's screaming and yelling. And that's fine. That's fine. We'll just take it off. We'll do it live. Let me hit these super chats real quick, and then we'll open up the phone lines. Here's one super chat from Ron Navy. Achane missed half the season, and so as fantasy-wise, he didn't get a full year of to produce fantasy points. Last year, Mixon scored 4 TDs in a game, but was crap after that. Achane is good, but in my opinion, a lot to prove. That's fine, Ron. It seems like you're a little bit more in the camp of let me wait and see, or and that's fine, Ron. We need I hate that you're on that side of the fence. I don't think you're hating on him. I'll clarify that. But we do need a certain amount of people on the 20% side of the fence, the 30% side of the fence, that's going to drive his value down to an even more reasonable location. So, Ron, for that reason, we salute you. Continue to throw. Anybody continue. Like, that was a little bit of doubt. It's okay, Ron. I love you, pal. But please continue to throw a little bit of doubt on. It only helps our case. It only helps us get even more packaged in risk into the equation. So that's fantastic. I love seeing Smitty going off about how people feel about Achane because they missed on him. I wish I took him at the 1.9 last year over Kincaid. Don't fret on Kincaid. Kincaid looks like he's coming into his own. He definitely looks like Josh Allen's trusted player. Like, he likes looking to Kincaid, and this offense is going to slowly integrate him more. And if the Bills give us enough games to watch, if they get knocked out right away, then the Bills will potentially, give us this one game and little splash shot of what Kincaid can bring. We want Kincaid to get playoff experience. We want Kincaid to have 2, 3, 4, 3 more games of showing us what he can do and mature, because this is an important time for him. If Kincaid gets to play 3 games from this moment on in the playoffs, he's going to be so much more ready for 2024. So if you're a Kincaid fan, a Kincaid fantasy owner, a prospective Kincaid 2024 fantasy owner, you're rooting for the Bills to go all the way. Whether they lose in the Super Bowl or not, you want them to play more games so Kincaid can become the trusted target and give this team even more confidence to dump Stephon Diggs and go in a different direction and say, you know what, Kincaid, you're our guy. Here's the game ball, Kincaid. This one's for you. And you want Kincaid to take that ball and run with it, bro. Kincaid to the freaking moon. However, yes, of course, in hindsight, going back and getting Achane would have been fantastic. And you could have got him in the second round in a lot of cases. So I wouldn't really blame it on Kincaid in the 1.9. I would just say, look, it is what it is. The thing that you have right now is an opportunity to go trade for Kincaid on the, or for Kincaid too. Achane on the low, because the doubt is still very real. Like, this is a bold take. JD5 and Achane on the Saturn list are probably the 2 bold takes. The rest of it is I don't want to say an obvious call, because the Saturn man list is about what are the meat and potatoes of round 1 and 2. Like, who are we taking when push comes to shove at 4 overall? Because not everybody in the first round is going to land. So the Saturn man list is, in a sense, half bold predictions, half, okay, these are the boys. These are the guys we ride and die with. These are the guys that are going to take us to the promised land. Kyron, he's going to be hyped, but we believe there's no concern. Ignore the concerns that are there. Bijan, he's our guy. Achane is still very bold. Achane is still very, very bold considering where we're putting him right here. JD5 and Achane are bold Saturn men. The rest are not. You couldn't say they're out of nowhere, out of pocket. These 2 are bold.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
DeBalt dropping a $5 hauler. Dynasty League Superflex, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. Running back stable is CMC, Brees Hall, Gibbs, Achane, Roschon. Fantastic. 22-5 and took the championship. You got to take risk if you want the chip. You got to risk it for the biscuit. DeBalt, nice job. Appreciate that. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show if you would like to have a little bit of a itty-bitty conversation about this topic and more. Your boy is here to answer the call. Devon Achane is 9 feet tall. Let me put that over there. So, dial in. I'm excited about this one. Part of me wanted to make him the first Saturn man. But there were some reasons why I felt like the doubt around this kid was going to remain. The other players I wanted to get out in front as quickly as I could on it. And there's another player that I'm going to drop before the, probably tomorrow. That's going to be a little bit more of an obvious call. I think this one's bold, but we'll get an obvious call tomorrow. And then once we have that one Saturn man tomorrow drop, and then maybe one more, but I can wait on that one. I could go bold for a while. I think you're going to start seeing some bigger swings. And I know that's what a lot of people want, but I haven't received really any complaints of, hey, why are we putting all these big name play? Because I think all of you, I explained it for one, but all of you understand the root of the reasons why these Saturn men are being hand selected, because there are dilemmas at the top of a draft. There are ride and die players. And so these are the guys that we're going to ride and die with. Bold prediction next year, Kyren is by far the biggest bust, says X20. I mean, hey, not going to hate on predicting bust for any, that's definitely, an understandable take from somebody that probably didn't own him. X20, let's be honest. I mean, if you owned Kyren Williams, you wouldn't be saying that. And you can come back and I'm not mad at your take. You have every right to have that take, and I don't think that's a hater take. It's just, he came out of nowhere. For a lot of people, at least, we very much loved him on the show as a rookie. Then he had a disappointing rookie year. But he man, I think there's no way you could have owned him. If you owned him, you would have appreciated what he did, and you would be looking at him from a different angle. My only caution to you, X20, is to not take the same approach we were talking about, bro, with Achane, where you're mad you didn't see it coming. You're not adjusting and adapting. And at the end of the day, bro, like you got to improve upon that as a fantasy manager. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what's going on here. You might truly believe that Kyren's going to bust. Is there an odds percentage chance that Kyren could bust? Sure. That's why I'm not reaming this take, because I mean, he is in the realm of possibility. Like there is a world where Kyren could, there's a world where anybody can bust, but there is a world where you could say, hey, if Stafford went down, McVay got kidnapped by aliens, what would happen to this offense if Stafford retired after this year or something? And I think Kyren would be okay, because Kyren, I think, is different than, Stafford's gone. It impacts different facets of the offense. I think Kyren's still going to get run like crazy, but I can understand the take. I just disagree with it, obviously, because I have Kyren on the Saturn man list. But I would just say to look down deep, bro. Look in the mirror. Make sure you're not basing this off of you missing on Kyren and not having any shares of Kyren, because that's typically where it derives from. And I'm just looking out for you, bro. And then this one, Kincaid is top 5 to 7 in Dynasty. Moving forward, I do agree with what you said. It will be hard to get Achane from a friend because he loves him. Well, he might watch the show, Aaron, and I can't help you steal him away from every owner, but I would say that if an owner that owns Achane right now in a Dynasty league is capable of trading him, this is the only time you'll be able to do it this offseason. So you might want to, especially right before a game, like if he goes out and craps the bed, then make another attempt if he doesn't get the carries or whatever. But if he goes out and explodes, you're definitely going to be further away from getting him from the owner that didn't want to trade him to begin with. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, bro.
What's up?
Hey, it's not that I don't think Achane talented he is. He's not an every down back, and I had him on my teams. It's just on my best ball teams. It's just when I needed him, he was on the sidelines hurt, not playing, not getting me those fantasy points. And that can be said about a lot of players, but it's concerning. And him not being an every down back, which I think you would agree with, he's not.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Mostert, I mean, yeah, he's 31, but he still scored 21 touchdowns.
Yeah, but Ron, they can coexist in this offense. They've proved that. Achane's biggest fantasy game.
Yeah, they can. But Achane is the second back there.
But why do you think I don't agree with that? That's your you're coming to that conclusion for me. I think he's an every down. He's an every down back.
11 touchdowns.
You what?
21 touchdowns to 11 touchdowns. I mean, and you look at it, Mostert had more top 10 finishes.
But but he's just getting going. Mostert's 32 years old next year. I think it's the most crafty situation for Achane to be in, because they probably won't address the running back through the draft or free agency, because Mostert did so well last year, which is fantastic. But the odds of Mostert staying healthy, who's been plagued with injuries his entire career, and at 32 trying to stay healthy with an injury history, is like slim to none to me, that he's going to be able to put even like a 12-game season together. But even if he did, my worst case scenario, Achane and him can thrive together. Achane missed time for a knee injury that does not make him injury prone. I'm not worried about Achane being hurt. Like anybody that says, oh yeah, it just concerns me. I laugh at that, because he had a knee injury that would have taken anybody out. And like I said, he's such an agile guy. There's reason to think some people would have tore their ACL or been out for the year. Somebody suplexed his knee when he came back.
Guy.
What?
He's a smaller guy. The whole thing on him prior to the draft, when he was drafted and coming out, is that he was a $160, and he's not a big guy. He has a ton of speed, but they were worried about him getting injured. What happened? He got injured. I mean, you could say he's not injury prone, but time will tell. He got injured. That's
the fun. That's the fun debate. He weighs about 190, by the way, not 160.
I was being
but Ron,
dramatic.
it's a big way to paint a picture about his size.
Still he's a small guy.
But it doesn't. But he's an every down. He's a different hybrid of an every down back. When you say, I think you would agree with me, he's not an every down back. I don't agree with that. He's an every down back to me. He's especially in a Miami Mike McDaniel system. Every down back does not mean the same thing. There could be two every down backs in this offense, the way that they deploy the rushing attack. All he needs is touches. I don't care. He doesn't need 15, 25 carries every game. He averages 7.8 yards per carry, and a lot of times he'd average like 10 yards per carry. He needs about 10 to 12 carries a game. He needs an Alvin Kamara / McCaffrey type workload. He's the kind of guy who could get you 6 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown and have 35 yards and a touchdown on the ground. I believe that they have big plans for him. I believe you've seen a transition in a way where they feel confident in when to give him the ball. And I think, Mostert's going to get it on the goal line. And I think that will probably continue walking into 2024. Why would it not? And I'm not scared of that. Again, in a quiet way, I love that Mostert's there, because he's 32 years old and he's got a huge injury history. And I don't think there's a shot in hell he could have a full season and stay healthy, given how injury prone he is. And to me, it's the most open door, most vulnerable starting lineup path that you could find. And even if he doesn't crack the starting lineup, so to speak, as the way you want to define it, because Mostert's in that short yardage role, he could still get 15 touchdowns on the ground next year if Mostert plays 17 games. His best game was when Mostert was on the field, having a top 5 running back contest as well. These guys were neck and neck for who was going to score the most points that week.
Crappy Denver defense, where they both scored 70 points in that game. They put up 70 points against the Denver defense that was getting whacked hard at that time.
Ron,
Denver's defense.
I get it. We don't. I mean, these are all. I've already talked about all these negatives. Like I get it. You feel these way, and a lot of people are going to feel. A lot of people are going to feel these negatives.
Cisco defense, is he going to do the same thing against a strong run defense?
I've already gone. That's fine. I appreciate
we don't know.
And you can't say you're an Achane supporter then. This is not coming out like you support Achane. You can say hedge your bets and say like I like him. He's a great talent. But Ron, you're not coming across as a believer in Achane, which is fine. It's fine. But like you can't walk that line
at this point because he played 7 games total.
So what? He had a knee injury, Ron. He had a knee injury.
He didn't even play half a season.
Okay, it's not.
He didn't even play half a season.
Ron, I know that. I got it all on the screen here.
Then I got concerns, just like I had concerns with Swift staying healthy.
Okay.
I got
you, Ron. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at your take, but we're
debating.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of what I feel. That's fine, and we need enough. Okay, let me put it in this perspective. If you don't believe in Achane to the degree that it's coming off right now, okay, you could say you believe in him or whatever, but the way it's coming off, you don't. And if you don't, and you want someone to take him too high so you can have another player drop to you, you need me just as much as I need you, because I'm going to raise his value up. If you're not going to take him high, that helps you on draft day. So we need each other in our own worlds. I totally appreciate your take because we need a lot of it to bump him down as far as possible to package in every bit of risk we can, because every running back's an injury risk. It's not like he's going to escape the risk that every RB is going to face. But I don't understand the injury concern like everybody else. I don't.
If given the chance, I'm taking Breece Hall over him because
of course you will.
He got injured last year. He came out and he played a full season.
Ron, that's not even the same ADP. Breece Hall's going to go.
Breece Hall over.
Breece Hall's going like 1, 2, or 3, or 4 overall. Like we're talking about Achane going like probably the second round. Like of course you're going to take. That's like saying I'd take $1 million over $1,000. Like it's not. Where Achane's going to go is not like, let's say Achane went out and let's say the Miami Dolphins advance. They win their first wild card game. They win their next game. Achane plays like 3 total games and he has like 400 total yards and like 3 touchdowns in that entire span. I can see him being a first rounder. Like, or let's just say they lose their wild card game and he has 150 yards rushing and a touchdown. Like he would be probably top 8 to 12. And then we'd have to come in and you and I have to debate whether that's too high for me. And I can tell you right now, it's not. But if he's doing that, I'm even more excited. But you might be like, I can't do it. Or maybe that would convince you. I don't know. But the odds are he's going to walk out and probably, I don't know, stay in the 14 to 18 range is my guess. Maybe the 12, 13 turn in our community for sure. Like our community is going to draft him super high.
Maybe in redrafts and stuff. In best ball, I think maybe he goes even further down because I think after this year, people are going to be going right back and doing the receivers. I think the quarterbacks get pushed down this coming next year, and I think the running backs get pushed back down, and it's going to be a receiving fest the first 2 rounds. That's my prediction.
Well, I think a lot of people, and I don't know if you heard what I said before you called in, is that these people that say, I'm avoiding running backs in round 1 because of the injuries. It's like, what are you talking about? Everybody got ravaged. And some might say, well, okay, every position but tight end or no, tight end was made. You could argue the worst, in some way, because representatively of the top 3, you had Kelsey get hurt and literally hamper everybody at the beginning of the year. You had Andrews go down and you had Hawkinson go down. So the tight end position representatively of the top 5 got hit the worst. Running back was massively kicked in the nuts. Wide receiver was ravaged. Wide receiver is probably ravaged the most outside of tight end, and say that, JJ, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, even at the end of the year, you can't say Tyreek Hill didn't screw a lot of people, because he was not there at the end of the day when somebody needed him for their final weeks. And so you got Tyreek Hill, and I'm not saying anything bad about Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying this is a position that absolutely got decimated. JJ, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. I mean, the list goes on. And quarterbacks got blasted. So yeah, I agree with you. People that say that I'm gonna go, but people are crazy to think that wide receivers, like the only way to go. Like, if anything, I love the freaking top 5 for running backs this year, top 6. I love it. I love look at the Saturn men.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man, one.
Kyren and Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey are in my top 5. Like, I can't even. Yeah. I eventually believe I'll force a Tyreek or a JJ. Probably JJ. The way JJ finished, and he doesn't even have Cousins there. He's proving how good he is, and I think everyone's remembering it. You know, it's not going to be something where people doubt it. He came in strong, finished strong. Like, JJ's certainly going to be in that top 5 or 6, whether he's 2, 5, 4, 1. It makes a lot of sense to draft him over anybody. It's fine. But, like, in my top 6, I've got Kyren, I've got Breece Hall, I've got Gibbs, I've got CMC. If anything, I'm going running back, and I go best player available, but best player available appears to be running back to me in the top 6, 9 times out of 10. I'm sitting there going, okay. Or a better example would be 4 times out of 5. I'm going RB.
Well, we've traditionally went RB. I mean, this is what we've done. I mean, that's part of the reason that I found your channels, because we were pretty much on the same wavelength especially with RBs. I mean, everybody else is fading RBs, and you're pro RBs heavy, and so am I usually. You know, so that's been our thing. But in RBs last year, I think were more decimated than they were this year. I mean, we lost all our top RBs last year for the most part to injuries. This year, I don't think it was as bad, but we lost other players, quarterbacks and wide receivers, and a few tight ends. Yeah, those were the worst ones this year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Let's go over to Theo real quick. Theo, are you rested up? Are you a little bit more in touch with what's going on, or did you just dial in blindly again to call me out on something that is 100% not true? Yesterday, Theo called in yesterday. On the Dynasty channel, we did a running back ranking, and it was the chat voting, and the chat voted JT at like number 4, and I don't hate it. I have JT at like 6, 7, which is not disrespectful because you got so many good players like neck and neck there, and he calls in, he's like, I mean, I'm not putting a little words in your mouth, Theo, but this is how the vibe was. Like, you know, oh, you're flip-flopping on JT, are you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not my ranking. Theo, did you not watch? And Theo's like, no, I just called in. So anyway, Theo, go ahead. You're all good, bro. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just drafted Achane over Mahomes and Kyren in Dynasty.
At a boy.
One QB.
At a boy.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I got him at the 3-5, which is crazy to me.
Hey,
what one QB?
That's a 1 QB. Last night you were talking about Superflex. You got him at the 3-5 and a 1 QB. That's crazy. I can't wait.
Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, one thing I will say, if you guys want where I might be out of bounds right now on this topic, is I might be so blindly in favor of this man. I'm expecting people to doubt him, but I might not be prepared for the amount of doubt that is surrounding him. And I do believe how he finishes in the 2023/24 playoffs will determine a lot. Because like I said, the Dolphins get knocked out in this first round, and he doesn't have like a magnificent game. Then I might be off base on where the regular population's gonna have him. The doubters are gonna shove him down enough. The people that love him are gonna shove him up a little bit, but he'll level somewhere in between, because no one's gonna want to take him where they don't have to. And man, I will be so happy if I'm off base and he's a 3rd rounder. I just don't see it. I think maybe because you're drafting a little early, that could be the case. But even in best ball, and I kind of a little bit disagree with Ron's best ball prediction. However, anything can happen, and Ron knows best ball very well. So, I'm not saying that he won't prove me wrong there. But I kind of feel like this is the perfect player to draft in best ball, because if the only concern is for the people that do doubt him is injury, well, then you're not screwed in the middle of a week necessarily if he goes down, because you got other players that will get plugged in best ball for you without you having to make that lineup decision. So I just think he's got that capability of, when you score 50 points in one given week, when you're the number 1 yards per carry running back in the history of the NFL with over 100 carries, 7.8 yards per carry. I mean, look at this graph right here. He towers over everybody. It's crazy to me. I'm so pumped about him. I do think that my expectation for his ADP will be matched where I think it is if he has a great game in the playoffs. Like, even if they lose, they're one and done, but he has 115 rushing yards and even a touchdown and 20 yards receiving and no other additional work. That's enough to, I think, put him in the second round. But, bro, third round, you're getting me excited. If I can get Achane as my third drafted player, and like I said, get ready for a video. I have a video coming that is going to be how to dominate with Achane, or, there might be a couple other players that I have, but this will be a draft pick trading video, and everybody loves the draft pick trading videos. So essentially what I'm going to do is in this draft pick trading video is you're going to take this third rounder, you're going to move it into round 2 to draft Achane. That way you can draft 2 players that have nothing to do with Achane. Your original first and second round picks are not Achane drafted, and your Achane pick is going to be moved. You're going to move this pick in here, and that's a way to have Achane as your third player, your third drafted player. And this might require you to give up, let's say this is your 5, this is your 6. Maybe you give your 6 completely free to just move this third rounder to the second round. Some people will do that, but you give up and sacrifice 1 pick, do a 2-for-1, move this pick here, and now you get to come out of the draft with, let's just spitball. Let's just say Kyren. Ron, give me a second rounder. Give me a mid-second rounder you love. Don't say a
mid-second rounder?
Yeah, I know you're going to say something. Pittsburgh. Najee! give me somebody we'll all agree on.
Mid-second round, Tank Dell.
Okay, I think people will be okay with that. Dell, Achane, you could go that route. Or let's say you get Theo. Give me a mid-second rounder you love.
I really like Puka in the second.
Yeah, Puka, that'd be great. Puka is going to fall to that 12-13 turn, maybe. It also depends how he finishes. If Puka goes out and has, even if they're one and done, the Rams, who I think the Rams are a real good shot of advancing around. I know everybody loves Detroit. I love Detroit. Detroit's fantastic. We love Gibbs, but I think if we've learned anything, and Goff is good at home, but I think if we've learned anything, it's that the Lions are spotty. Like, they'll go out and smash, and then they'll go out and shart the bed. Then they'll smash, they'll shart the bed. I feel like the Rams are just so well oiled. They're possessed right now. So anyways, let's just say they're one and done though, and Puka has 125 yards and a touchdown. Then he's in the first round probably. And rightly so. There's no reason he shouldn't be a 10 overall pick, 11 overall pick, 12 overall pick. But if you could get Puka right now, if let's say Puka doesn't do anything and they lose, I think you could get him in this like 2.1 to 2.4 territory. So this is a perfect team. These are two Rams, but that's okay. You can, with my draft strategy video that I'll have of trading this round 3 into round 2 to get Achane, you could have Kyren, Puka, Achane championship. Championship.
To the moon.
Does that get you all hot and bothered, Theo? When I show you this right here, Kyren, Puka. You what?
It gets me so excited.
Yeah, I bet it does. Ron, how's this make you feel when you look at this?
Phone calls cost me $1.99 a minute.
Yeah. Hey, Kyren, Kyren, Puka, Achane. Is that getting you hot and bothered, Ron?
Hey, now, I ain't paying $1.99 a minute for this.
Watch the super chat start flying in. All right, hey Theo, what else you got?
No, that's it. I just wanted to say I'm glad I just was able to draft Achane in my Dynasty League.
I kind of agree with this Marty's comment here. I'm really hoping that Dell is not a second rounder. When you said Dell, I kind of paused because I think coming off the injury,
I don't think he will be.
How good Nico Collins is right now too, which you've also said in the past, Ron, you like Nico as much, or in some cases, like I think it's gonna be really tough to see Tank Dell coming off injury, especially if Nico does well, because Nico's got a game, still at least one game to showcase, and if they win, he'll have 2 games. Nico could definitely put himself more and more on a map, get a foothold, and kind of shove Tank Dell down to round 3. If we get Tank Dell in round 3 or round 4, that's win a league material. If we got to take him in 2, it becomes shaky. And if anybody wanted to know, I accidentally let it slip. I had on the Moon Man list, I pressed the wrong button. The Moon Man.
Dropping low.
Tank Dell's on it. The reason he's not a Mars Man and the reason he's not a Saturn Man is because there is a lot of concern about coming back from injury. There is a lot of who's the number 1 there, and I think that when we talk about Saturn men being more secure, a lot of them are bigger names. We are gonna have a splash of JD5 and Achane and guys like that. Tank Dell belongs on the Moon Men list, not the Mars Men, not the Saturn list, because there are some risks involved. And I think the deeper you go down the planet order of being further away from Earth, so the moon is not a planet, but the moon is a rock, and that rock is closer to Earth, you have more vulnerability of maybe missing. And so that's why I say nobody should be drafting a team full of Moon Men like people did last year. And if they struggle, then people are upset and they take a while to jump back. The Saturn men, you can draft a team of Saturn men because those are all monsters. Mars men is going to be in between. Moon men are going to be a lot more risky, and there's reasons for that. So Tank Dell, as much as people, like when someone saw that, when I hit that button, they're like, well, why is he not a Mars man? Why is he not a Saturn man? Because he comes with some risk, and the risk is going to bake in, I think, some protection into his ADP, and I think we'll see Dell probably in the 3rd round because of Nico's rise, because of the injury, and that's where there's value. That's where I'm not concerned about taking Dell. I'd much rather have him in the 4th too, but Dell here makes sense. Dell here feels too high, especially with Nico going nuts.
Yeah, but doesn't I mean, you just said Dell has risk, and that's for injury, but doesn't Achane have that same risk?
Ron, I've already addressed the Achane thing over and over. Ron, let me say it one more time, and I know you're not going to hear this because you're gonna still circle back to it. Like I can see it a week from now. I'm going to say that guy's injury prone. You're going to go, but it's an Achane. Like I don't think. But here, let me put it to bed for you, and you can feel differently about it. It's fine. Okay, Achane had a knee injury, and I'm not saying that Dell didn't have like a similar like freak injury, right? Everyone's saying Dell's size is why he got injured. No, he got landed on. It was not. Dell didn't get hurt because he's a smaller player, even though he shouldn't have been in there blocking. Like from a theory perspective, anybody's leg would have snapped the way that Dell's leg got pushed on. But Dell's coming back from surgery. Dell's coming back from a major injury on top of Nico climbing up and on top. So that puts him in a bit of a risky.
There's also a lot of mocks that have a wide receiver going to the Houston.
Achane's not exiting the season injured. He's going crazy. Like, so this is a very, very different thing. The injury risk from coming back puts him in Moon Man territory. Like, that's still a great place to be, a Moon Man, Ron. I'm not doubting Dell at all. I'm just saying that's where we want him. We got him right where we want him. And when we got Dell in round 3, you know what I mean? Dell in round 2 just is not. It doesn't make as much sense. Just like, if you get Puka Nacua in the 2nd round as your 2nd drafted player versus the 1st round, it's like night and day. He deserves the 1st round pick. But if he goes out and doesn't do anything and the Rams lose the game and you can get him at 14 overall, where did Puka go in your draft, Theo, the one you just did? I'm hoping
2-6.
2-6. 2-6. Like, Ron, I know how much you love Puka. I love Puka. We all love Puka. Look, I jumped on the Puka train as fast as I could get myself on it after I missed it in week 1. And I admitted that. I took my lap. I said I should have walked out of week 1 saying this is the guy. But instead, I was like, I want to wait and see. That's one of the big things I regret. in the early part of the season when the season had already began, like if you could say there's a mistake. But adjusting and adapting is 100% how you become a better owner. And it's the people that aren't adjusting and adapting. I'm not necessarily saying you, Ron, because you do like Achane's talent, but the people that don't want to get on the Achane train are not adjusting and adapting. The people not wanting to get on specifically, I could see a little more on this one versus Kyron. But if you're not on the Kyron train, you are literally not adjusting and adapting at all. Like, you have no navigational ability or skills to adjust and adapt. If you're saying Kyron Williams is dog water, or you're staying away from Kyron Williams, that guy's a monster. And Puka Nacua, the difference between going number 8 overall and at 2.6 where Theo got him last night is night and day. That's like home run. You're such a huge advantage over your league mates. But taking him at 8 is still, he's still worthy of it, but your team's going to look a lot different. Like, you got Puka as your second player. Good God. You got Kyron and Puka. You got Gibbs and Puka. You got, I don't know, you could say Jamar Chase and Puka. Like, that's so much different than going Puka and then having to get the other player down. That's great, man. Oh, my God. We're almost rooting for some of these guys to crap the bed in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, Puka having a bad wild card game is not going to do anything to his 2024 value, but, like, if he goes crazy, it's going to do something to his 2024 value. Oh, man. It's going to be crazy, bro.
I think there's... Tell me if you feel this way. I think with the amount of injuries this year, there's going to be a lot of hesitation on people trying to overthink and pick the right players that they think won't get injured and put out for the year. But that's an impossible task, because you could draft the best players and the injury bug could just hit your team. I mean, it did me this year. I mean, injury after injury after injury, it's like decimate you.
Yeah,
that could happen any year.
And I think I disagree with some people on how they talk about, I know a lot of people that lose their league, the first thing they say is that fantasy's 50% luck, and I don't agree with that at all. Like, there have been leagues where I've won 8 years out of 10, in a league, and that's not luck, that's skill. The one thing I'll say is I believe fantasy football as a fluctuating unlucky, I would say it's unluck. It's bad luck. So, like, you either avoid the bad luck or you don't. I don't think it's luck. Somebody doesn't go out there and just take big swings and beat 11 veterans in fantasy football. It's bad luck that helps somebody, I think, win. And so if you can avoid the bad luck, like, for example, the bad luck would be in the Marsman League. I had a really good team, but I got outscored by massive amounts in the Marsman League. Nobody got outscored more than I did. I had a really good team, and I didn't even make the playoffs. Like, that's bad luck. I couldn't avoid it. It was there, and it's gonna take you out some years, like the bad luck. But I don't believe that it's 50% luck or in terms of good luck. I think it's skill. Like, and when you get hit with injuries, how many people in here drafted Bijan and still smashed their championship? Because they use skill to consume guys like Achane, to consume guys like Puka or whatever, and they go into their championship game, even with Bijan kind of, struggling all year, and then Bijan drops, in week 18. Some people played week 18, drops 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Like Bijan finished running back 9. He still helped people. He just didn't destroy people like we had hoped. But yeah, fantasy to me is I think 75% a combination of not only your own skill, but your ability to take an information that maybe other people are skilled at providing you, but it's a skill to digest it. And so 75% digestion / your own thoughts and skills, which is really digestion anyway, because you're watching a player on the field. So it's really all processing. So 75% processing, 25% bad luck. And you just got to try and avoid the bad luck. But it's hard. There's reasons that I do my injury stuff. Like, I think for the most part, aside from Henry, who's kind of defied all the odds for 2 straight years in a row, I think we've been freaking on the money with the injuries for the most part. Like, avoiding Cooper Kupp, avoiding Eckler. Even if there was mid-season thoughts of trading and buying them dirt cheap, it's like, that's why Mostert's a big concern for me. I will not draft Mostert high, but I would draft Mostert and Achane together and cuff him. I think that's a fantastic approach, but I think it depends on where Mostert's ADP falls. I think a lot of people are going to doubt Mostert enough that I could see myself owning both of them in like one league at least to just make sure I have the Miami backfield. But I think avoiding injury is doable, and there's some smart ways to go about it. And although a lot of people say you can't predict injury, you certainly can't predict it to a T, but you can certainly 80% of the time avoid, or 100% of the time, or 80% of the time avoid the most likely scenarios to bring you injury, and you're gonna end up on top, even if you miss one or two of those. Even if you end up saying, okay, there's no way Henry does it this one last year. Going into 2024, Henry's going to be 30 years old, and let's say he goes to the Chargers. There's going to be a lot of people, and I'll admit I'll be intrigued. Not for a 17-game performance, but for maybe plays 4 of them, then gets hurt for 5 games, then comes back and plays another, the remainder of the year and does kind of okay, scores 12 touchdowns. Does what Todd Gurley did his final year, where he didn't have the yardage, didn't do very well, but he somehow had double-digit touchdowns, and they somehow feed him touchdowns. Like, there's players that I'm going to avoid, and I'm going to miss on 1 or 2 of them, but I can guarantee you that if we use our judgment on the players that are the most likely to get hurt, you're going to avoid more crazy injuries than you would have. But sometimes injuries took out Breece Hall, took out Javonte Williams 2 years ago. That was horrible for us. Breece Hall getting injured. I do feel like Breece Hall getting injured is no different than Achane getting injured, because those are knee injuries that you can't even prevent. And I disagree with everybody that thinks Tank Dell got hurt because he's small. That was an injury that would happen to anybody. It was stupid to use him in that scenario, but I think he did defend his coach in terms of how that ended up going down. But Tank Dell,
Henry, because I worry about him being injured. I'm not worried about him being injured, but what I'm worried about is he just seems to have lost steam. He's not running over people like he used to run. He doesn't have that burst through the middle of the line that he had, or when he gets in the open, takes him a lot longer. So he looked exhausted after that last game. Yeah. He just and so that's my big concern with
he'll drop off. He'll drop off for sure. Yeah, I won't be touching. Like I said, I'm going to be intrigued where he goes. Like if he goes to the Chargers, but I will not be drafting him. I'm gonna play that odds game every time. In 28-year-old running backs, the only running back I'm going to give a pass is CMC. CMC's going into his 28-year-old season, and he deserves the pass. Like I say, he's it's a higher risk to doubt him than to bank on him, but there is a high risk level there, because at 28 years old with his injury history, which I think we can kind of all agree he's shaken free, but he's still 28 years old with volume that haven't seen in quite some time in terms of being the percentage of his offense year over year, whether it was in Carolina, and that percentage was crazy. His percentage of being in the Carolina offense was absolutely head and shoulders above every player in the National Football League. That guy's been overworked for years, but takes care of his body. 28 is not necessarily the kiss of death for an RB. 29 is. And Henry's not a blueprint. Henry didn't open some portal for running backs to now go in and be great at 29. 29's done. I will not draft a 29-year-old running back. We'll even see where CMC finishes as his 28-year-old season this coming year, because he would be the only one I would maybe give a hall pass to in terms of being able to play at 29. But Henry did not open any portal or pave any path for anybody. 29 is a kiss of death for running backs that have had workhorse volume their entire career. Mostert at 31 is different, because he was never given this platform for 5, 6, 7 straight years. We're talking about guys that have consistently been top 5, 6, 7 running backs. Every year they're getting crazy volume. They break at 27/28, and only 1 or 2 is ever going to get a pass at 28. Mostert's different, though. That's not the same conversation. And that can happen for any running back that's 30 years old. Or you guys remember Mike Anderson? Does anybody? I know there's a lot of younger people
right? For Denver.
Yeah, the rookie. He was 20. Was he? He was 29-year-old rookie. Was he 29? 27?
Yeah.
Ziggy, how old was Mike Anderson as a rookie?
Mike Anderson played his first season in 2000.
How old was he though? Mike Anderson played his first season. I don't know.
2000 and it's 2023. What's his age right now?
Ziggy, how old is Mike Anderson, Denver Bronco running back?
Mike Anderson is 64 years old. He was born on December 12, 1959.
No, that's not. Ziggy, I don't think Ziggy knows what he. Ziggy, you're fired.
Gadzooks. I better update my resume.
You better. All right. Anyway, Theo, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Theo, appreciate you. Go Achane. Keep drafting, pal. See you later.
All right, have a good night.
All right, if anybody else wants to call in real quickly before...
Mike, he's 50 years old. So in 2000, that was 23 minus 50. He was 20... Does that make him 28? 27?
28. He's 27, 28-year-old rookie running back. That was crazy, man. I don't think people that are kind of new to fantasy, they might not understand what we're talking about. Mike Anderson was a rookie running back for the Denver Broncos. He was 27, 28 years old, and he was a rookie running back, and he had a phenomenal year. Ziggy, how many yards did Mike Anderson have his rookie year in Denver? Let's see if he does this right.
Mike Anderson had a remarkable rookie year in Denver, rushing for 251 yards and setting an NFL rookie record.
No.
Despite a brief injury scare,
that's not right.
His talent and earned the Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
Oh, maybe in one game? Setting NFL rookie record. Yeah, but how many total yards did he have? God, Ziggy's worthless. He's literally worthless. Yeah, Mike Anderson, let's see here. Mike Anderson, rookie year. Mike, I don't know.
Do you know why he came in so late?
Wasn't he military?
Yep, Marine Corps.
Yeah. 2000, Mike Anderson had 1,487 rushing yards as a 27-year-old rookie running back for the Denver Broncos. It was a different time back then.
15 rushing.
It's a different time back then.
Rushing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Denver had the best running attack in the NFL. It was Portis, Terrell Davis.
Fell off. He had one good year, and then he fell off.
Yeah, they went through
He had a good year in 2005. He had over 1,000 yards, and he had 12. So he had two good years. The rest of them were mediocre.
Yep. All right, Ron. Appreciate you, bro. Anything else?
Yeah, we're going to have some conversations. I think we got, 7 coaches now that need to be hired?
I really
steps down?
Yeah, I really wish that Pete Carroll was involved in this coaching carousel. I got it on screen right now. I don't know if you can see it, but Vrabel, Harbaugh, Munkin, McDonald, Raheem Morris, Ben Johnson, Bill Belichick, Antonio Pierce. You've got Kellen Moore interviewing for the Chargers head coaching job, but I don't know what that could turn into somewhere else. But these are the top dogs. I don't think I'm leaving anybody off, right? Pete Carroll should be on this list, but he's not. He's staying in Seattle to be. But hey, we got an opening. I got to put Seattle on here. Seattle's probably the second best landing spot now. I think the Chargers are probably still one. You could make an argument that Seattle's better, but. So we got to put Seattle on here with needing a head coach. So let me put that.
Seattle and
look at the board. Tell me.
Atlanta.
Yeah. There. Seattle is now on the board. There, Seattle. So we got Chargers as the top landing spot for a head coach. I think Seattle's definitely up there though. And then, so Seattle number 2, Atlanta number 3, Washington probably number 4. Although it's not the greatest place. It's just better than the Carolina Panthers, the Tennessee Titans, the New England Patriots potentially, if Bill's gone, and Las Vegas. if Pierce doesn't land there. But Pierce will probably go. We'll probably be dragging Pierce's name over to the Raiders. We'll probably, as of right now, leave Bill in New England, but who knows? And I just hope Bill doesn't go somewhere to ruin. I don't want him to go anywhere. I want him to stay in New England because I don't love New England anyway. No offense.
You think that the Raiders just let Pierce go and they're going to bring him back?
No. I don't think so. I think he's going to get the job. I think you've got too many people in that locker room that want Pierce to be the guy. I'm not saying the players decide all, but I just feel like, you got Devontae Adams, who's, keeping him happy is probably going to be kind of tough. So, you almost got to do what you can do. And Devontae Adams is, without him demanding a trade and kind of uprooting your entire offseason and the vibe and everything, you need to figure out how to keep him happy. He's asking Antonio Pierce to be the guy. So, we'll see. Players don't always decide.
Got to go somewhere where they have a quarterback, I would think, because he hasn't had good luck with quarterbacks. And I don't know. I mean, who do we want to see in Atlanta for Bijan? And the rest of that.
I mean, I really want Fields to get traded to Atlanta, or I want them to draft one of these rookie quarterbacks. I really like Penix Jr. in Atlanta. I really like Bo Nix in Atlanta. I really like even Caleb. Caleb in Atlanta would be fantastic. I mean, Caleb's going to go number one. I mean, I don't think that's going to change. Caleb's going number one. Doesn't mean he's my number one quarterback, but he could go to the best spot. So that will make him, at the end of the day, the best quarterback if the other 2 or 3 QBs that I do like better don't land in better spots. But they could. Like everybody, JD5 could go to the freaking Atlanta Falcons, which would be probably my most ideal landing spot, I think, for a Falcon player, because I love JD5. And if Jaden Daniels goes there to Atlanta and Caleb goes to Chicago, then JD5 will be my number one rookie quarterback for sure. If JD5 goes to Tennessee or the Patriots, I'm gonna have to look at it all, because I'm not gonna be happy about it. But maybe they build around him. Maybe no Bill Belichick, JD5, and then they bring in a T Higgins or something, and then all of a sudden I like JD5 in New England. But I definitely don't want him there right now. Dable would be great.
I'm not a. Yeah.
Huh?
I don't think he's a leader. I think he's
Caleb.
Me first type guy. That's just how I look at him. I don't like him as he's not a leader. He's a me first guy.
Hey man, we've seen.
As far as coaches, what coach would fit in Atlanta?
Vrabel would be good in Atlanta, I think. Munkin would be perfect, I think. And what he did in 1 year with Lamar, and I don't think people understand how hard it is to coach Lamar Jackson. He's not a plug-and-play quarterback at all, which is what some of the teams that said no to him. Might I remind you that it was the Washington Commanders, who don't have a head coach right now, that didn't want Lamar Jackson. The Atlanta Falcons, who don't have a head coach right now, who didn't want Lamar Jackson. I believe it was the Patriots who turned him down as well. All these teams turned him down. It's kind of ironic that the teams that are in the biggest shambles right now are the ones that were like, oh, we don't want to surrender 2 first-round little itty-poo drafty picks for a little Lamar Jackson. Now how does that feel? This idiocy at the top of some of these organizations, from the top down. And God. But Munkin, I don't think people realize how hard it is. This is part of why some teams didn't want Lamar. He changes your entire offense. Like, you can't just insert him into your offense if your offense isn't built to be an attack that is conducive to his skill set and abilities. Munkin, to do what he did with Lamar holding out for a majority of the offseason and still coming in, like, that's impressive. I think Munkin would be fantastic in Atlanta. I think Ben Johnson, with what we saw out of that running attack in Detroit, and it doesn't concern me the dual threat really, because there's so much to go around, and I think he would definitely use Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, all these coaching options are pretty good, to be honest with you, except for Bill. I don't want Bill Belichick anywhere near any fantasy football players whatsoever. I want him to stay in New England, and hopefully New England doesn't take JD5, and then I'm good. Bill can sit there and ruin whoever he wants. But he destroyed Ramondre Stevenson.
You might get some kickback from these New England fans here that what you just said.
I don't think so. I think they understand. They feel the vibe. And
ruin, guys. Ruin their team fantasy.
I mean, my New England watchers, they feel the same way. They want Bill out of there. They don't want Bill there. I mean, I think you could ask Travis. Travis is a huge New England fan, and I don't think I piss him off with my comments. I think he agrees he wants Bill gone. He doesn't want Bill there.
No, Bill and Tom made a great pair, and then when Tom left, he won a Super Bowl, and Bill went to hell.
Yeah, Travis is very fearful that Bill is going to relinquish a lot, right? Relinquish his GM duties and all that, or his decision-making, and then they bring in Arthur Smith. That would be the worst, man. Oh, I don't think anybody. I think we owe, as much as Jameis Winston did in the Saints. The more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, I think it was a pretty crappy thing for the Saints to do, to be honest. The victory, because they were in victory formation. Like, there's reasons that you don't. That's almost like dribbling the basketball out. I think somebody said this on ESPN. It's like dribbling the basketball out. Or I think it was Sherman, Richard Sherman that said it. That I think it's like dribbling the basketball out. There's like 4 seconds left. It's 3-2, and also you just go down and you do some tomahawk dunk and score. Like, it's just very disrespectful. And on top of that is an injury, or it's in victory formation, and you need to be able to trust victory formation, or players are going to get hurt. Like, if you're in victory formation, you need to be able to trust that, because if you're worried about somebody sneaking it, now you're going to have people that are in a very vulnerable formation that are going to get injured and smashed into each other, because people are like, whoa, we got a precedent where you can actually score in victory formation. So I think it was crappy, but
they'll probably come up with a rule in the offseason saying if a team's in victory formation, you must not advance the ball.
Yeah, I do, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as it's being made out to, except for in the locker room. Like, Allen lost the locker room. Like, you pretty much should be done as a head coach if your team doesn't respect you, and they don't respect him. And I would have personally cut Winston immediately. I would have absolutely cut him, and I would have made a statement. You don't go against what I say when I send you out onto the field to do something. And on top of that, though, but aside from that, Winston is a hero, because if it weren't for Winston and that touchdown they fed to Jamal Williams in victory formation that had Arthur Smith cry and complain and moan and go onto the field and have a temper tantrum, we may see Arthur Blank give him a pass and let him come back one more year. We owe a standing ovation to Jameis Winston, and I will forever be grateful. Despite disagreeing with how it went down, I absolutely would not take it back.
I think it's gone even if Winston didn't do that. I think Arthur Blank already made the decision.
Maybe
because he was getting already a bunch back from not just the general public, but from sports media. What are you doing? Why are you not? You draft this guy in the first round and you don't utilize him. What is your problem? And I think I think he was going to be fired no matter what.
Maybe, but we will. I mean, it certainly put the cherry on top. But here's the other thing, though, is what I was kind of going at, and I sidetracked myself. That I think that temper tantrum, which Jameis Winston and Jamal and everybody, the whole team, decided to overrule their head coach, that temper tantrum probably put Arthur Smith in bad enough light that I don't think he lands some big job. I think he goes to FedEx, where his dad, owns FedEx or whatever it is, FedEx, I think, and he got to do something else. But I think if he'd not had a temper tantrum, he might have been able to get like an OC job somewhere and ruin something else. So I'm hopeful that he doesn't touch a solid scenario because of that temper tantrum. So we owe Winston a lot, I think. But yeah, coaching movements will be crazy. I think you know, at the end of the day, as long as it's not Bill Belichick, my coach board here, the coaching tracker that I got up, I'm fine with every one of these decisions or these landing spots for these coaches minus Bill. And I don't know that Antonio Pierce, like I wouldn't want him in Atlanta because he obviously didn't deploy. I know he's working with like not a ton, but I don't feel confident enough that he would 100% get the most out of the offense because we saw how focused everybody was. They loved him. I think he's staying in Las Vegas anyway, and he loves the Raiders. Like I don't think he wants to leave no matter what, but I'm all for every one of these options. Ben Johnson, McDonald, Munkin, Raheem Morris would be kind of crafty, you know, like what he did with that rushing attack. Like I'm excited about a couple of these scenarios for Bijan, you know, like more specifically Ben Johnson, Raheem Morris, Kellen Moore would be interesting too. Like, I don't know if he's actually looking for a job outside of the Chargers head coaching job. He may not, if he doesn't get the Charger head coaching job, which I don't think he will, unless maybe Harbaugh falls through. He stays in Michigan, and then you don't really have you have Kellen Moore being a real option for them. I don't know that he goes elsewhere if he doesn't get the head coaching job, but that'll be interesting. I got him on here because I think he's deserving of it. But if he went to Atlanta, that'd be a high octane offense. I don't like Pierce. I don't like Belichick. I love everybody else.
Hey, there's a rumor floating, and it's been floating that Tomlin might leave, and if Tomlin decides to leave Pittsburgh, he's going to be first in line to get a job anywhere. Where would you want to see him at?
Tomlin, real quickly, let me answer this so I don't forget. What is Bijan's worth in Dynasty? Guy wants 1.6, 25, and 26 first-rounders. I have Mahomes, JJ, Olave, Higgins, Waddle, Amari. You have a really good team, no running backs. If you get Bijan with Olave, with JJ, with Mahomes, with Waddle, I like this. I take it because it's not like you're giving up a 1.1. Like this 25 and 26 most likely won't be early picks. You never know. But if you were giving up a secure 1.1 for sure, it would be harder to say yes to this. But 3 first rounders for Bijan doesn't scare me. It really doesn't, bro. So I would say it's a lot to ask. I'd try and get something back. I'd try and water it down a little bit. I'm not gonna tell you just go do it and try and negotiate. Try and walk it back or get something in return. Upgrade Higgins into a slightly better wide receiver who you trust more, like something like that. Waddle into Amari into a slightly better wide receiver that maybe they have Puka, and you could trade Amari for Puka in that deal, or Waddle or Higgins or something like that. Try and comb through the roster, see what player you might like more than they like. And then they're going to be like, that's an even swap anyway. Like, I love Amari Cooper and, wide receiver, whatever. And then you get that straight swap that helps you. But thank you for the super chat, bro. As for Tomlin, so how concrete is that rumor, you think? Like, if you had to put a percentage on Tomlin not returning next year, not returning.
I'd say, knowing the Rooneys, but also I think it depends how they play this next game or what they do in the playoffs. But I'd say maybe about 25-30%.
Yeah, I could put him on the board. I don't know that it's time to do that yet, but I guess if I've
heard on talk radio about it.
I'll tell you what, man. I know he's probably going to be a top candidate, but I don't know that I would want him. I know this. I know you. Maybe you agree because you've been frustrated with him for a while. I don't trust him with the quarterback situation. I want somebody who wants a high octane attack because that doesn't scare me away from Bijan. I want this offense to be balanced and opened up, and I want London to thrive. I'm not just looking out for Bijan. I'm looking out for London and Kyle Pitts too. I just don't know if I want this defensive team that doesn't have, they run the ball well in Pittsburgh. I think he could do well with Bijan, but I don't know that I love what he might do at quarterback. I want, like Kellen Moore's mind, he'd bring in somebody like a gunslinger, Monken would bring in a big time, pass. I think he'd bring in somebody. I don't know. It's tough. I don't hate it. I definitely love Tomlin way more than Bill Belichick. I'll tell you that.
If he becomes available, he's never had a losing season. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
I like it or not.
That's true.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Whether I like Tomlin or not, he's going to be hired somewhere. He's going to be the top guy in this whole for coaching jobs. He could go to Seattle. He could go to San Diego. He could go to Las Vegas. He could go anywhere he wanted to. Basically.
San Diego would be crazy.
Because everybody's hired. Huh?
San Diego would be good for him.
Herbert is the quarterback there, already set. So.
That'd be crazy cool. What's making him want to leave?
Well, everything gets stale. You need change of scenery, and it's obvious that he's had times where he's almost lost the locker room there, and he's in the last few years he's had issues with the locker room, and sometimes the message gets stale, and everybody needs a change of scenery sometimes. So he's been with the Steelers for so long, he maybe needs to move on. He might want to move on because the fan base is on him, and he might just be frustrated too. He's come close to losing the locker room.
But this is not going to come from the organization, though. Like 0% chance of that, right? It's coming from him.
The Rooneys have always allowed their coaches to do what they need to do. Like when Cowher left, when Cowher decided to step away, it was Cowher's choice. Now, the real reason behind why Cowher left is his wife forced him to, and that's why he really retired, because there was a doctor there, a Steeler doctor, that put it out that he had an affair with the secretary or something. So his wife gave him pretty much the ultimatum. That was the story, but that's not what came out publicly. But that's why Cowher stepped down.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll put him on the board here until we get confirmation he's off the table, but we'll put him right here. I'll put him up on the board. So Tomlin, Harbaugh. I was gonna have Pete Carroll when we started to hear the rumors early this morning, and then it's like he's staying in Seattle. Like, why is he staying in Seattle? Like, he sounds like he doesn't want to leave coaching, and he's okay with just being an advisor. Like, what's this guy doing? Is this maybe going to be you think he changes his mind and he wants to go somewhere? I don't know. Yeah, he's 73, 72? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
yeah.
He wants to relax, smack on his gum up in some office somewhere. But he's always active, so I just can't imagine him just, like, sitting in an office somewhere. Because he's an active guy. So I don't know. What the whole thing is there. But.
Yeah, Dan Quinn, that's another one. Dan Quinn, we'll put Dan Quinn up here. That would be a good one. Am I missing?
What about was it Fowler? Flores.
Yeah, he might be in the convo for sure, but I'll put him up if he's in the running. But I'm not sure I want to. I don't know. He's solid, I guess. He's defensive. Like I don't know.
He caused a lot of controversy when he was coaching Miami, but and then Tomlin brought him in, and then he got that defensive coordinator job in Minnesota, which Minnesota, you have to agree, their defense looks 100 times better than it did last year. Yeah,
Bieniemy, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if did he earn it? You think? I don't know though. He
is that strange? Well, Bieniemy goes right. The KC wins Tuesday, and we were kind of like clowning on Bieniemy going to Washington and all that before, but maybe he really was the glue that held Kansas City's offense together. Maybe he really did do something there in Kansas City. Didn't give him credit for it.
Well, I guess
yeah.
I think if maybe Washington did a little better, but then again, you could say like, damn, look how good Howell did for what he was handed. So there's maybe some truth to that. A little bit. I still think the Chiefs get onto a big get off to a big start. Pete Carroll to Miami would be incredible. They're not firing Mike McDaniel though. Loco, I don't think he'd take a backup or a assistant job or anything.
Motion detected at the front door.
I mean, he'll take an assistant job or a advisor job with Seattle, but he wouldn't take a demotion to Miami. He's talking about college football. The U. Okay.
LA.
That would be interesting if he went to college, but college that's an exhausting move. I don't want to say the NFL is like easier, but like you for at his age to get into a different mindset, coach a bunch of young kids that are going to take different amount of energy. I don't know, but
Chargers.
It just doesn't make sense that if he seems like he wants to coach still, why he would stay in Seattle. I don't know why you would do that. It's like a total demotion. It's a total disrespectful thing in my opinion. Maybe you don't like the weather. The what?
The weather. Maybe he wants to get back down to Cali.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe Bieniemy. We got to put Bieniemy on here. I'm running out of room for these coaches now. We'll put Dan Quinn on here. We'll put. I guess Bieniemy needs to be on here. He interviews so badly though. they just say like. Every time he does an interview, they're like, "This guy can't be running stuff here. He just can't." I mean, it's got to be bad interviewing, like really bad. If the entire league is like, no, like this guy, like he's like one of those mad scientists, He's rambling and somebody's got to oversee him to make sure all the good stuff comes out. But like, you can't put him in the front of the cart. Carroll too old for college football. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Why isn't Arthur Smith up there? Abe, get out of here with that nonsense.
Nobody wants Arthur.
Arthur Smith. Why isn't Arthur Smith the planet Uranus? Do we have him on there officially? Let me see. Yeah. He's there. He's there.
Planet known as Uranus.
Is he?
Yep. We have Gibbs is cooked. Says Okafor. Achane is like a tire with a small hole. Says David Wong. James P. Brees Hall is undraftable. Achane, yeah. This is Rushman. 10 out of 10 for warming the bench. Man, Rushman. I didn't know. I forgot you were an Achane hater. David Wong. Achane's not the same anymore. He made it twice. Josh Allen equals Zach Wilson, says Terry R. Those are some of the comments that I felt. I know you hate Josh Allen to a degree. Mixon, Deshaun Watson, Kamara, and Dalvin Cook are on here. Some of the reasons are for personalities, not necessarily for performances. That's why we had Kamara on here all year on the planet Uranus. But, he was one of our favorite drafted players. All right, Ron. Well, I'm going to let you go, bro. I got chimichangas that have been sitting in the kitchen for an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go.
When are we going to go over the bold prediction board?
Soon. And I'm not trying to. I mean, I could do whatever I want, really. Influence it too much, but I think God, Aloha's predictions really, really tough not to say one. Like, I looked at the board. I still got to look at. There's a lot of them on there. I got to look at it. We got to clear it and then redo it for 2024 anyway. I'm going to take a photo of it. We'll put it up here, and we'll go through it. But Aloha's Bijan Robinson will be a backup running back in 2023 was on point. I mean, in my opinion, it was just the one that hit the hardest. And it's crazy. Eric, Bieniemy. All right. Hey, Ron, I'll see you later. Well, maybe we'll do that during a graveyard show. What?
To have the show, it'd be fun to just go over all the predictions. And, all that one didn't hit and then erase it or whatever. It'd just be fun to go over it and see what some of our stupid predictions were.
Yeah.
And how far off we were.
Let me take a quick...
It'd be a really... Oh.
Let me take a quick photo of this section, like right here. No, Let's see. I'll go up top. Take one right here. Okay. So if I put this up on the screen, this is a quick one. I can't do this too long because I got to eat those chimichangas. They're getting cold. Here's a graphic of or an image of just the top left corner. This is just the top left corner.
That board is full.
Yeah. Jets win division. That's done. That was from Collusion. Blake says Tyreek Hill not top 10. That's done. Blake says Tua 2. God, I wrote so bad. 2 concussions. That's mean. Blake, you didn't win, Blake. Russian T-Law 4,800 yards and 35 touchdowns. That's done. Space Ricky JT 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Didn't do that. Wolfer Herbert TD record MVP. Garrett says Jags win the division.
Oh.
Matt Boyd. AR5 rookie of the year. Nope. See, look, some of these were really bold, and some of them weren't. And really, there were so many that missed, but they're all supposed to be crazy bold, right? Everyone's trying to have the biggest one to win. Patrick, Carolina wins the division. Nope. TMT, Dallas Super Bowl versus the Bengals. Is that correct? That's what it says. Okay, so man, if you just left Dallas wins the Super Bowl, you'd have had one in the running. Beats Philadelphia. Oh wait, hold on. Dallas to the Super Bowl. It looks like it says versus Cincinnati though, and then it says beats Philadelphia. Oh yeah, beats Philadelphia okay, gotcha. In the title game. Okay, Paul right here. Stevenson running back 1. Aloha Bijan bench. I mean, he was Aloha 1. Like so far. Aloha 1 so far. That's the only thing that makes sense. Aloha wide receiver 3. What does that say? I got to work on my writing on this board at least. I could write okay, but on the board here, but like up here when I'm reaching up high, I couldn't like write well because I'm like reaching up. I need to write it smaller and what's it say? Wide receiver 3. Then I have like a slash. Higgins. Is that Higgins? Higgins. Does it say Higgins? I don't know. T-Law. Okay, so far on this corner, Aloha's the only one. Like if I take a photo of this section over here, I mean we could almost do this real quickly. Let's decide on the winner right now. We might as well. Here's another. So was everybody in agreement that Aloha's is the only one we can use at this point, right? So Aloha. So far. Here's image number 2. This is the corner. I think you're in this corner quite a bit, Ron. I think yours are on here. Okay, so we'll go from the top right corner. Melvin, Giants to the Super Bowl. Barkley running back 1. Nope. Overcome. Nick Chubb running back 1. Nope. Ron Cousins MVP. Nope. Anthony Kincaid tight end 1. Nope. Paul Wolfer. Eric. What's it say? AR5. I think it's AR. Let's say AR5. Top 3 QB. Yeah. AR5. Top 3 QB. Vamps is Pollard running back 1. Nope. Let's go to the top here. Anthony says Mims rookie of the year. Nope. The Patrick.
This had to be an anti-Steeler one.
What's this say here? God, I can't even read my own writing. I'm reaching up high and I didn't write well. Vanish. Oh, Patrick will vanish. That's yours, Ron. The Patrick will vanish by week 2. I haven't seen the Patrick in a while. Ron might be in the running. A-Rod MVP Super Bowl. No. The Patrick Pickett. The Patrick Pickett See Bold Take. I don't know what that is. Garrett Smitty is going to get demoted to the Moonman League. Almost, bro. Jack of all trades. Fields MVP. Nope. New York playoffs. I don't think that. Okay. Pittsburgh swept 2 to 3 times. I'll have to see what that is. I don't know. What Kirk Cousins, 5K yards. Ron Navy says we'll be at 50K subs. That unfortunately didn't happen. I wish Ron was right on that one. Okay, but we can get there.
I know what that Pittsburgh one was. That was him saying that Pittsburgh would be swept in the division 2 to 3 times, either by 2 or 3 of the teams in the AFC North.
Okay.
Which did Pittsburgh went 5-1 in the AFC North.
All right, let me send these over to my computer real quick. Okay, last 2 images, and then I can wipe it, and we can start fresh for this year, and crown the winner. Maybe a winner happens right here. Maybe we get we got 2 images to go over, and then we're good. So Aloha, Paul Stevenson. I think we got this one right. Okay, Aloha Addison, 13 TDs, 1,600 yards. What did he have? Ziggy.
Addison had.
How many yards did? What are you just looking up?
I didn't catch that.
Ziggy off.
What would you like me?
Ziggy off. Ron, you look it up for me. Okay. New England eliminates KC. Nope. Vikings show in the championship game. Aloha says Tomlin losing season. Aloha says Jimmy G next Tom Brady. Aloha came out with all these wild ones, and then I think that Bijan one he meant to make a wild one, and it won so far. Aloha KC doesn't make the playoffs. Almost. Matt he just threw a bunch of wild ones out. Matt O says Pollard next. Pollard, Najee, Gibbs, top 6 running back. CMC. Yeah, it doesn't make it. Okay. Kincaid, top 5 tight end. Aloha said. Ron says Pittsburgh division win. $766. But we both didn't. We both lost that one.
Yeah, we both lost.
Jake, Bijan running back 1. Nope. Kamara, Saints running back 3. This is Lancaster. Lancaster didn't like Kamara. Tyler G says Bijan top 12. LOL Bijan top 12. Okay, so he must have dropped a $50 hauler, and his comment said LOL Bijan top 12. But he didn't say not top 12. He said Bijan top. I don't know. Aloha Trey Lance next Hurts. Super Bowl, San Francisco. Aloha just threw all these crazy ones. Matt O. Irv, top 7, Cincinnati. Irv Smith. Okay, so that's that one. So far, Aloha's the winner. I mean, I'd almost say it.
Addison was 911 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not close, though.
Didn't he say 11 touchdowns?
He said, like, it was a massive amount of yardage difference and everything. Matthew Boyd win underdog $3 million contest. I don't think he did. Russian collusion. Dallas wins the division.
Ooh.
Philly doesn't make the but he said Philly misses the playoffs in the same prediction though. But you know, it's up to the chat whether you want to overlook like a miss in it. So Ron Cousins, 5K yards. We got that one. Fields MVP. We got that one. The Patrick Pittsburgh swept 2-3.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
A-Rod MVP. Patrick Seabold, Tate Garrett. Okay, I think I'm caught up over here. I think that's it. Addison Strong, number 1 rookie. Oh, was that yours? Addison, rookie of the year. Oh, well, I mean, he did good.
The top rookie wide receiver, I think.
Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it. So is everybody in agreement that Aloha's was the best? I think Aloha won, to be honest. I mean, to say Bijan Robinson was benched, it hit the most.
I would say it would be between that one and the prediction that Dallas would actually win the division, because most of us thought Philly would repeat. I mean, everybody thought Philly would repeat.
Yeah, so I guess let's vote on it, chat. Even though he said Philly wouldn't make it, miss the Super Bowl, miss the playoffs, his prediction was still good. Do you like Russian collusion saying that Dallas will win the division, or do you like Aloha saying that Bijan Robinson would be a backup? Aloha vote. Aloha, Russian and Aloha very close. Props to putting the effort in.
I almost think it's like a tie.
Where is Aloha? I don't know. Aloha isn't even here to collect. I mean, I don't even remember what we said. He's going to co-host a show, and I said I was going to come up with something. So, underdog shirt is Aloha's if he wants it, but I don't know where he is. Aloha. He was Aloha to co-host. Aloha wins. Smitty missed the super chat. Okay, I'll go for it, Thomas. Aloha wins. Congratulations, Aloha. You have won the bold prediction contest. And your prediction was that Bijan Robinson would be a backup running back. And boy, did he feel like one. Huh?
You just had a bunch of votes come in, though. You closed the voting too soon.
Russian for the win. Aloha. Collusion. Push. Aloha. Russian. Russian. He's kind of coming back.
That's what I'm saying.
I gotta put a poll up now. All right, hold on, guys.
Yeah, I would put the poll up. That's the easiest way to keep double voting from happening.
Who won the prediction contest?
Perp said Denny in Aloha's place.
What?
Nice one, Perp. Perp said Denny in Aloha's place. That was good.
Okay, Russian said Dallas wins division. Okay, here it is. Here's the vote, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to drop it in the chat. First one to 25 wins. I dropped it in the live chat. Click that and vote. Let me pin the link. Link has been pinned.
Oh, it's close. It's so close. Seven Aloha, 4 Russian, 5 Russian, 8 Aloha, 9, 6, 10, 6, Aloha, 10, 8 Aloha.
All right, I got it here. It's live updating. First one to 25. First one to 25. 12 votes for Aloha, 8 for Russian Collusion. It's coming in hot. Who's going to win? $22 total votes. I'm sorry, Rockout. I'm sorry, bro. I forgot you were even there. I added you a while ago. Rockout, what do you got here? Who won, Rockout? Who's your vote?
Bijan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. This funny thing is Russian and Aloha are both MIA. Like, I haven't seen Russian in here in a while either.
Right.
Russian, where you been?
11.
Let me co-host the show. Well, win the prediction this coming year then, Frank.
What happened to Avatar? Avatar just, vanished.
Every once in a while people get, I guess, burned out on fantasy or something, and they vanish and they come back.
Take a break for a couple of months sometime.
No, he's been gone for forever.
First one to 25. We got 15 votes, guys. Please, the link's pinned. Please vote. Who won the bold prediction contest? To recap, Aloha said Bijan would be a backup, and Russian Collusion predicted the Dallas Cowboys to win the division. Who won this contest? There was a slew of bull. Everyone was trying to one up everybody, but the most simple prediction of Dallas winning the division is the one that kind of it had a chance to win, obviously, or still does. It could win. And I think people tried to reach too big because everybody wanted to one up everybody. Baked In Boys, you're live. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I was just going to weigh in on the vote. Atlanta was the number one rushing team in the NFL, and then they got Bijan. No one saw that coming, that they wouldn't use Bijan.
Yeah, I know, bro. I have
Dallas was still a good. I mean, I thought Philly was a lot better than Dallas, but still.
Yeah.
I would call it a bold take, but not like Bijan just not getting used in what was the highest volume run offense in the NFL.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy, bro. I got a graphic on that. 560-something carries. Nobody ran the ball more and better than the Atlanta Falcons. You couldn't see it coming. 16 votes. Guys, we need to hit 20 votes or 25 votes. First one to 25 wins. Did I say 20 or 25? First one to 25 votes wins. The poll is 25. The link is pinned in the live chat. Please vote. Who had the bigger, bolder prediction? Russian Collusion and Aloha. And neither one of them have been on a live stream in a long time. Somebody said, and Perp said, there goes Matt O. And then Perp said exactly right on Matt O. I think he's talking about Matt O's idea. I think it was Matt O. Somebody said have Denny, if we don't have Russian Collusion or Aloha call in to claim their prize in the next week, I think Denny is the de facto replacement for co-hosting the show.
Perp said that.
Was it Perps that said it?
Yeah,
I guess they don't want to be the host, I guess.
Silver said Russians, half of Russians. Prediction was wrong. Yeah, but we did say that it doesn't really matter as long as the chat thinks it's still a good one, because it's kind of up to you guys. There's just nothing else that really landed. The Addison one was kind of close, but not near enough. The yardage was 1,500 yards or 1,600 yards or something. Yeah, Perps, good idea, bro. Denny to the moon. 18 votes. Maybe we'll just call it at 20 votes. I got to give it to my chimichangas anyway. 20 votes will win it. 20 votes will win it.
Yeah, he's up by
he's up by. Baked In Boys left. Baked In Boys, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know if you still had something else you wanted to.
All right, 2 more votes.
2 more votes and Aloha wins. Or Russian Collusion brings us back. Then we'll go to 25, but.
No one's voting.
Bijan finished as running back 1 as a top 9. Yeah, the bottom line is what's the feel of the prediction though? Who do you feel like Bijan Robinson was starting? Is my question to you, bro. He wasn't. Bijan Robinson was the back. He was the third string goal line back. You know, that's probably the statistic in the category that is most important for a running back. He's the third string goal line back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so in theory, was he the bench running back? I probably not, but like, I mean, I think it was the most accurate prediction. I got to go, boys. Theo, you got 30 seconds, Theo.
Would you take Tank Dell, Ayuk, McBride, Addison, or DJ Moore?
Tank Dell, Ayuk, McBride,
Addison, or DJ Moore for Dynasty.
Tank Dell, probably Tank Dell, but they're all pretty good.
All right, but I'm about to get Tank Dell.
I like Ayuk. Is there anybody else you're not mentioning though?
Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice, Nico Collins, London.
Jaden Reed's interesting, but I think you want to get him a little later than Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell's got higher.
I can probably take him in the 6th.
I mean, there's going to be a big debate on Nico versus Tank Dell, bro. Like, especially if Nico goes off in the playoffs here. But I don't know. Who's the quarterback available? Do you have a quarterback? What quarterbacks are there?
Yeah, I took CJ Stroud at the 4-6.
Okay. McBride's pretty nice. I'd probably go Dell. What other quarterbacks are there though? Just curious.
Herbert's still left.
Okay, but no like Hurts or okay.
No.
I mean, McBride could be a top 3 tight end, bro.
Yeah, no.
Who do you guys like if you had to pick between McBride and Tank Dell? Rock out. Who you taking in Dynasty?
I'll do Dell. But close.
Ron?
No, Ron's saying Dell. He wanted it as a second.
Well.
Yeah, I'd take Dell.
Okay. I was gonna say.
But that wasn't Dynasty. We were talking Dynasty then.
Oh, yeah, we won.
All right. One more vote, and Aloha's going to win the vote. And for anybody like coming in, like a late Lonnie coming into the chat, and they think that we're clowning on Bijan, we're not. We're clowning on his usage, and this prediction was laughable. I laughed in Aloha's face. I laughed in his face. I said, you should be ashamed of this bold prediction. Actually, I didn't, because he dropped a $50 hauler, and I wrote it up on the board. But, I mean, we laughed at it. This ain't coming true. This ain't coming true.
And that happened.
And again, you could say he didn't. He finishes running back 9, which is amazing. It's amazing as a backup he finishes running back 9. That's even more of my point. You know, even more of a reason why I think Bijan's a top 5 overall player, potentially. But Bijan Robinson finishes running back 9, and he was treated like a backup running back. He was 100%. Eight touchdowns. 100% not the goal line back. 100% probably not even. Does anybody feel confident they could say he was the second option anywhere near the goal line? I can't. It was Tyler Algier or Cordero Patterson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
You know, if Patterson's contract's up.
He did get some shots in the goal line, but not.
He felt like the third option.
Not a lot.
At least his second option. And that's benchable, like, or that's a backup running back material type of feel.
Mostly Algier.
Yeah, and Superfish said, and this is kind of what I've been kind of, you know, barking about all day yesterday and today, is that if he can be running back 9, when he's completely misused and abused in this offense, that's how amazing he is. Like, to get 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns when he's been and 58 receptions, being completely misused and being a backup essentially, then imagine what he's going to do when you bring in a Vrabel or let's say Tomlin was the guy or whatever, and you get one of these coaches that comes over and they say, this guy was drafted number 8. Ironically, number 8 overall. Kyle Pitts was taken number 4 overall. London was, I believe, number 8 overall. And Bijan was 8 overall. Am I correct on that? I think they're both 8 overall. Guess what pick the Falcons have this year? 8 overall.
Hey, Smith, Thomas said
Can't make this up.
Oh, Thomas, I'm sorry, bro. I got 2 super chats here. Perps dropping a $20 hauler. Thomas, let me get Thomas. He's been waiting a while. Dan Quinn reuniting with the Hawks. Yeah, I mean, look, Dan. You know, I wouldn't hate that. I guess Dan Quinn in Atlanta. We put him on the board. It was a good coaching addition we needed to add. I put Dan Quinn on there. I put Tomlin on here because Ron Navy said that he thinks Tomlin's, you know, there's a decent chance he's on the move. We'll have to see.
25. Yeah.
That's a pretty decent chance. Okay, I'm going to call this this vote here. It's 19 votes to 13. It's a pretty big margin, considering no one's voting anymore. Bijan Robinson prediction landed the most. Aloha, congrats. You're nowhere to be found. I don't know if you'll be co-hosting a show or not, but reach out. Catch me outside.
50 gifted.
Perps for the 50 gifted. Dropping
To Saturn.
Saturn goodness. Perps, appreciate you. Perps dropped to 20. Does that mean that Lego Batman is no more? There's a lot of people missing in the chat, kind of like Area 51. They're both MIA. Next poll, Denny as the replacement host. Great comment, Perps. Appreciate you. And no, Lego Batman, some people are going to just go missing for a couple weeks. They're taking a fantasy football break. But the true diehard NFL connoisseurs are here because we're talking NFL and fantasy. Like, the offseason is so great to me because we get into NFL content, you know. But Perps to the 20.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Thank you, Perps. Who did you hear from last night?
The Bruce.
The Bruce. How's the Bruce doing? Missed that guy.
Well, he's got 2 days, and we might be seeing him come back. I told him we'd all be excited to see him come back into the show.
Bruce. We need to have like a Bruce chant. You know?
Yeah, well, get his song ready. You got a song for him. You got his intro.
Bruce.
We should record that for him so that when he comes back. All right, here it is. Here's his intro.
The Bruce is loose.
All right, hey, I gotta go. My chimichangas are probably crispy dried, cardboard at this point.
Yeah, go eat them.
All right, hey, rock out, see ya. Theo, you got anything else, Theo? Real quick.
Yeah, would you go Pitts or Kincaid?
Kincaid. I'm excited about what Pitts could become, but like Kincaid, my offseason predictions of Kincaid aren't like fading. I just think that, he's maturing like a tight end obviously could in the NFL, which is remember Hawkinson was 100 yards and a touchdown his week 1 rookie year, and then like weeks 2 through 17, nothing, for the most part. So Kincaid is ahead of the game. Kincaid has how many Ziggy, how many receptions did Dalton Kincaid have?
I can find it for you real quick.
8 receptions, 100.
No, Ziggy, no! Ziggy, how many receptions did Dalton Kincaid have?
In his NFL career, Dalton Kincaid has 73 receptions.
73.
73 yards.
Like two touchdowns is not ultra impressive. 673 yards is not ultra impressive, but 73. Like that's got to be. That's got to be.
Half of his games, he was on a 50% snap share.
That's got to be like, first of all, franchise record, but that's got to be up there as one of the better reception seasons for a rookie tight end. I know.
How many?
I know Laporta. Ziggy, how many receptions did Sam Laporta have?
In his NFL career, Sam Laporta has 86 receptions for 889 yards.
And 10 TDs. That 10 TDs really did a number. Ziggy, how many receptions did Trey McBride have?
In his NFL career, Trey McBride had 10 receptions for 152 yards.
What?
Ziggy, how many receptions does Trey McBride have?
In his NFL career, Trey McBride has 110 receptions for 1,090 yards.
Wow.
This is that correct? Year, though.
Is that correct?
No.
Oh, it was rookie year. Okay. Ziggy, how many?
69 receptions.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't clarify, did I? It's late. I didn't
yards.
even realize what I asked him. Ziggy, how many receptions did Trey McBride have in 2023? I was like, what?
In the 2023 season, Trey McBride had 81 receptions.
There we go.
825
That's still
yards.
crazy.
Okay.
Do you realize
That's
that?
really good.
Do you realize that Dalton Kincaid went out and had a near NFL history breaking reception total, and McBride, well, this year anyway. McBride felt like a rookie tight end this year. McBride, Laporta, and I mean, Njoku, no, but he's not. I'm talking about just the young guns.
Yeah.
Coming out and having that kind of season, putting Kincaid's 76 receptions on the back burner, in the shadows. Kincaid had a great year. My whole point was Kincaid was freaking, he walks into next year as just a monster. Just a straight up, potentially 80 to 90 reception, 1,007 TD tight end. I wouldn't look at his 2023 rookie season as any sort of down, disappointing season. That 76 receptions is unreal. And he didn't even start off fast, And if Diggs leaves,
the rookie tight end record.
Is it
I was telling you, Smitty,
Shockey or Kyle Pitts has the rookie tight end? Would have had the rookie tight end record.
He only plays 50% of the snaps,
I know.
more than half of his games too.
What were you saying, Ron?
I was wondering if Kyle Pitts still owns the rookie tight end record.
Ziggy, what did Kyle Pitts produce his rookie year? He's not getting this.
Kyle Pitts played his first season in 2021.
Ziggy, what did Kyle Pitts produce statistically in 2021?
From statnews.com. Kyle Pitts had
68 receptions.
1,026 yards and
But he had 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
17 games in his rookie season in
Ziggy off.
2021.
Ziggy off. It really does depend on what stat you want to use, because yardage, receptions, touchdowns, I think Laporta's probably had the best rookie tight end season that, from a fantasy perspective. I mean, Laporta went nuts.
Yeah. Go eat, Smitty.
Yeah, I got to go. All right, later, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, see ya.
Later.
All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. Deuces. Live for a Dynasty video tonight. So if you guys are not subscribed to my Dynasty channel, make sure you get on over there and subscribe to the Dynasty channel. Here's the link to the Dynasty content. If you aren't subscribed, you got to hit this link. Do it live. Perps, appreciate your $20 hauler, my guy. There's the Dynasty link right there. I want to pin it on the way out the door. Thank you, Perps, for dropping the 50 gifted memberships. If anybody got a gifted membership from Perps, you might want to thank him right now, because that guy just nonstop gifting YouTube exclusive memberships. Dynasty channel link has been pinned, so please hit that link, subscribe, watch the videos. We're trying to get the watch time up on the channel. They'll get it monetized. We're really close to monetizing it. I'll see you all tonight on the Dynasty channel. Peace out. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Ron Navy, with the $20 hauler at the beginning of the show. Thank you, Perps, dropping the $20 hauler at the end of the show. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, 33. Thank you, Aaron Swarm. Thank you, DeBalt. Thank you, Aaron Swarm again. Thank you, Space Ricky, for the first super chat of the evening, which I don't know if I did a standing ovation on that one. I'll see you all tonight.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Spaceman. Spaceman.
Devon Achane, please. report to your shuttle to Saturn. Your shuttle is leaving.
Prepare for departure. Touchdown probability high.
Your Bijan card has been